The music news for the streets, the music news for your beats, the news for the music stuff that you gonna need. We gon' talk about plugins, we gon' talk about gear. If it's news on this music, we gon' talk about it here. Let's go.
What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy, Hit the keys. Here today to do a quick review and demonstration over X plugins by Thenatan. Make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you could be the first to see. Well, no further delay, let's get right into this bundle, baby. So as we hop over to the website, we see now X plugins out now, 9 high quality audio plugins that can help you alter audio in unique ways. So in this bundle, you're gonna get a bunch of different plugins, obviously, and they're all effect plugins. So you're gonna get a Flanger Phaser, you're gonna get a digital robot, which is pretty solid. You're gonna get this drama ghost, you're gonna get drop wow, you're gonna get reverb modulation, you're gonna get delay grain, you're gonna get vibrato tremolo, you're gonna get ringer shifter, and you're also gonna get tape stop. So let's go ahead and hop into FL Studio and kind of check some of these out in action. So I made a little sample beat as always. It's not all the way mixed down. I'm using these plugins all throughout this beat right here. So what I'm gonna do is play the beat and then I'm gonna break down how I use each one of the plugins and then let you hear the plugins that I may or may not have used in the beat. So again, it's not all the way mixed down, but let's go. All right, guys, so that's the little sample beat that I put together for you guys. Let's go ahead and hop back into these plugins so we can check them out a little more in depth. So the first effects plugin I want to talk about is this digital robot. This thing's pretty solid. This is probably my favorite of all of the plugins in the bundle. It's kind of like a filter plugin, so you get some kind of filter sweeps, but I feel like it degrades the audio a little bit too. And I feel like when you start messing with this part of the module, it kind of gives you a little delay effect as well. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like to my ears. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it off for a second. This is kind of what the beat sounds like before I turn this digital robot on. Now, if you remember the beginning of the beat, I used this as an automation. So I automated this in there and it gave me that filter sound. So it sounds like this. So it kind of gives me that crazy filter sweep that you're hearing, but like, let's say I turn off this half of the module, right? It's gonna sound like. But if I start turning this, you hear how I had that little bit of delay on there? But if I start turning this up, it's gonna change the way that the signal sounds. So you can hear right there, it sounds like it's kind of degrading that signal. I just wanted to turn it up so that I could stress what it's doing to the sound. There's different modes. So you have Sparky, Hammer, and Greaser. So with these different modes, this Sparky is, you know, the lightest of the effect. The Hammer is about medium, and then the Geezer is like full on. We're gonna go for the gusto mode. So I'll go through those modes so you can hear them. So you can slightly hear the difference. I know that it sounds jacked up because I just turned the mix up so high just so that it could stress what it's doing. But this is really good on drums and really good on a signal as well. And then over here, you kind of have the filter section. So I'm going to turn off this section over here just so you can kind of hear what this is doing over here. You've got a couple of different frequencies, which it's going to sweep between. And then you have down here kind of the time in which it's going to go. So the milliseconds. I do wish that they had this set up to be in time too, but this works. And you'll notice when you turn it down in the milliseconds, it's going to be less of an extreme effect. When you turn it up, it's going to be more of an extreme effect. Now, what's cool about this specific effect of all of them is that when it works together well. And so like when I turn on the second half of the module, this is about to go crazy because we didn't listen to it to start off. We didn't dial the sound in, but these two modules work wonderful together. The second effect that I want to talk about is this drop wow. This drop wow is actually pretty dope because it gives you that warble effect. So it gives you that dropout effect. It gives you that warble effect, that lo-fi effect. But it also does something over here where it like kind of gives you halftime, but it can give you halftime, but the reverse effect of halftime where it's doubling up the speed as well. And you can layer that together to get a double warbled out sound that has the halftime and the double time going as well. So it's dope. Just check it out. So this is what the piano sounded like without no effect on there. Now, once I throw this effect on there, I get it to sound like. So you hear how it's throwing it all off. It's giving it that extra warble, but I'm going to show y'all what's dope about this. So again, I'm going to turn off this side of the module right here. So this is the drop side. I'm going to turn that off. Now down here at the bottom, you'll see that you have different controls. And so you see I have this going down -12 semitones and I have this going up, 12. But like, let's say I turn this down right here. But again, I'm going to push play and I'm going to turn these semitones up so that you can hear what it sounds like. So that's pretty dope. And then if I turn up this one, so it's kind of like I pitched it up. So this thing is pretty dope because it just does more than just like a little warble effect. And it gives it like a little cool twist. Let's go down -24 and see what it sounds like. Just pretty solid. I like this module a lot too as well. I'm not going to hold y'all. Then the next module that I like is this delay grain. So obviously, it's a granular effect. But before I put the granular effect on the piano sounded like this. And then once I threw it on there, I got it to sound like. So you can hear the little bit of texture that it's giving you. What's cool about this is that it's really easy to use for a granular effect. You just got grain size, your mix, width, pitch right here, and then you can mess with your timing and your feedback of the delay of those grains. So it's cool. You can put the grains in mono or you can put them in stereo, however you want to, and you can dial in that mix. You get control of the semitones of the grains right here too as well. And then you have control over the delay time right here. So you can hear how it's doing a whole bunch there. I also use that right here on this vocal Aether. So I used it on this vocal. The vocal sounded like this before I put that on there. And then once I threw the grain on there, I got it to sound like. So that came out pretty dope too as well. All right, so then the next plugin I want to talk about in this bundle is another pretty solid plugin, just because of the way that it works together, because it's two modules together. So it's this Reverb Modulation. And so with this, as you're looking at it, you're going to get your reverb right here, and then you're going to get like a duck and a pump feature right here, which makes the reverb sound pretty dope because it pumps the reverb and it's also going to duck the reverb for you if you want it to, so that it won't give you any issues with your mix where the reverb is clouding up your mid frequencies or whatever frequencies in which the reverb is sitting in. So this is kind of what the piano sounded like before I threw this reverb modulation on there. All right, so then once I threw the reverb modulation on there, or the reverb mod on there, this is what it sounds like. So you can hear it kind of pumping, you can hear it doing what it needs to do. I can turn up the mix, so I'm gonna turn up the mix and the sides, and I'm gonna mess with the low pass and the high pass just so you can hear what it sounds like. So that's pretty solid. Obviously, you can mess with the mix over here, or you can mess with the mix here. But let's go ahead and mess with this low pass, this high pass, so you can hear what it sounds like. Then you got the ducking and the pump over here. So you hear how it's giving that subtle pumping, but it is also ducking it so that it's not running into each other. You know, pretty good reverb plugin. You know, another one worth checking out. All right, guys, and from here, I'm just gonna kind of briefly go through the rest of the effects. So the next effect is gonna be the Flanger Phaser. So when we look at the Flanger Phaser, it looks like this. You know, it's got a flanger over here, it's got a phaser over here. It sounds something like this. This is what it sounds like without the Flanger Phaser on there, though. And then once we throw it on there, we get it to sound like. So it's not bad. You know, again, you can turn the flanger or the phaser on and off. So we'll just turn the flanger on to start. Then it also has this phaser over here. I also use the phaser on this guitar right here too as well. So I want to go ahead and play this one too. This was the electric guitar. So this is what the electric guitar sounded like before the phaser was on there. And then once I threw it on there, I got to sound like. And then I threw that reverb modulation on there as well, and it sounded like. So, you know, sounds pretty dope. And then the next plugin I want to talk about in this bundle is the vibrato tremolo one. So when you pull the vibrato tremolo up, it's going to look like this. I don't know about the art here, but you know what I'm saying? Again, this is what that guitar sounded like. So now we turn that vibrato tremolo on, it sounds like. So, you know, obviously it's going to give you vibrato, tremolo, all that good stuff. And the next plugin I have for you guys in this bundle is called Drama Ghost. Drama Ghost is kind of like a shimmer reverb. When you open it up, it's going to look like this. So you're going to get controls over like the pitch, the panning, the width, compression, transpose, and then the amplitude. So if I was just to play this just on the piano that I had earlier, it's going to sound like this. I'm sorry, excuse me, that was the piano without the Drama Ghost on there. Now with Drama Ghost on there, it's going to sound like. So it sounds pretty cool. You can do a lot of stuff, so we can mess with this transpose. So you can see when I turn it up, it really kind of pads out the sound. So whatever sound that you're using, you could probably put this on a keyboard or something like that, and you can make it a pad, or you could use it like, you know, a shimmer reverb. You know, that's probably what I'd recommend doing with it. All right, guys, I got two more plugins in this bundle that I want to go through. The first one is called Tape Stop. Tape Stop is just like the name would imply. It's basically going to give you a tape stop effect. But what's cool about this is that you can add noise and you can change the waveform, so it's going to change the way that the tape stops. So I'm just going to push play. So as you can tell, it's going to be like a tape start or a tape stop. And so you can change the semitones on this. So there's a bunch of different noise types over here, as you guys can see. So now let's say I push play. You can hear a little bit of static going on with the noise and stuff like that. So that's cool. You can change the waveform. So like if I take it up like this, it's going to sound different than if I do it like this. So if you listen, those two tape starts sounded different. Now we have tape stop over here and we can do the same thing. All right, now listen to it when I pull this waveform down. It just sounds different. So a lot of this you can mess with. You can mess with the bar range. And so it'll change the tempo in which the tape stop goes. So. So as y'all can see, that's pretty cool too. Pretty solid tape stop effect, just because it's got the noise. It's got the fact that you can change the semitones. It's got the fact that you can change the waveform. You can do a bunch with it. Pretty solid. All right, guys. And the last plugin that I have in this effects bundle is the Ringer Shifter. When you open this up, this is basically ring modulation and a pitch shifter all mixed into one plugin. So I have it on some drums. The drums sound like this. Now, when I turn this off and you just listen to the sound by itself, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean the sound by itself. I meant the sound with the Ringer Shifter on there. It sounds like that. Now let's go ahead and turn on the Ringer side. So again, that's probably the plugin of them all I'm not going to use because I don't really mess with no ring modulator like that. So, but what are my honest opinions on this plugin bundle? Well, it is $39. I do think that some of the plugins in here are really fire. Like I think that digital robot is fire. I think that the wow plugin is fire as well. And then I also like the delay grain and I like the reverb modulation. So for $39, I think it's a pretty decent deal. Would I use every plugin in the bundle? I mean, I don't know if I would. Would I use 5 or 6 plugins in the bundle? Probably frequently as well, because they give you a good sound and just a different way to work with effects plugins because of the combination of the plugins or the combination of the effects put together, if that makes sense. So those are my honest thoughts. $39.95. You can check it out for free. There is a free trial on all these plugins, so you can download them all, check them out. There's going to be a pause for like 3 seconds every 60 seconds. So just know that, but you can check them out before you buy them. So make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell. So every time I bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Some, hit the key.